All right, everyone, welcome. This is I think the most people we've had here since when? Since before COVID? Oh, makes it a little sad, to be honest. But all right, I'm thrilled that you're all here. So in a few moments, we're going to light our Hanukkah. But first, the brothers are going to lead us in O Hanukkah. Is that the first one you want to do? Yes. O Hanukkah. So guess what? It's actually in your prayer books on page 669. So if you go to 669, you can find O Hanukkah on the bottom there. Is that the piano? No, oh, isn't it? Got it.
Everyone's going to join him?
Yeah, we'll all join you.
Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Simeon to play and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed us, we light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed us, we light to remind us of days long ago. Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. To eat and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed us, we light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed us, we light to remind us of days long ago. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to start our candle lighting process. So I'm going to ask individuals to come up and start lighting their candles, and when they're all lit, we will say the blessings, which you can find on page 572 of your prayer books. All right, and so I need a volunteer. The dog candle and the moose candle and Hanukkah are mine, so whoever wants to light those totally can, because I'm not really into lighting Hanukkahs. But you gotta be careful when lighting the moose one; those candles will fall off at any moment. So why don't you come up and let's get this candle, let's get these Hanukkah lit. Devin? Yeah, you know what? Now that you're bar mitzvah, Kevin, I think that's sorry, Devin. I think that's cool. Okay. So Gail, you're gonna need to use someone else's shamish. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Everybody want to come up here and start the process? Go for it. Yeah.
Actually, we should probably pick up the back ones first, because now we're gonna have to lean over the plate.
Oh, good point. Gail, you want to get in there real quick and do? You can walk around. You can get taller as you walk around the table. There you go. Oh, there's a little helpful thing over there, under that one. I think it's which one is it? Newest candle first.
Should we turn the lights on?
Oh, good idea. Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah, don't touch it, don't touch it. Use someone else. You have to use someone else's shot. Yeah, we're gonna turn the lights low. Here we go. Oh, right. That's, yeah, that makes more sense. Yes, that's on.
No, I know, it's the same thing for Shabbat.
Every year it's not scaring me. The moose time, yeah. It's Shabbat.
Oh, this is so cool. Okay, here we go. The blessing on 572. We're just going to say it together, okay? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. The next one, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim l'havotenu v'imotenu b'yamim hahem b'zman hazeh. Chag Sameach, everyone. We did it. Okay, I don't know. Should we keep the lights down a little bit? I'm kind of loving the vibe, the low light vibe. Yeah, all right. So next, I'm going to ask Barbara Brown to come up here and light the Shabbat candles. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, something wrong.
Which is, I think it's on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Beautiful, loved it. I want to turn maybe the spotlight on. So. Okay. All right, we're now going to move to, is it Hine Mato, fellas? Yeah. Hine Mato. On what page is that? 128. Hine Mato, 128.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tovu
Lechadodi, which you can find on page 138 of your prayer books. We're going to together recite paragraphs 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we arrive to paragraph 9, I encourage you all to stand and face towards the entrance to greet the Shabbat bride.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Shabbat nekabela, Shamor v'zachor v'yedibor echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'lutila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucham, sesot pesach mishkaf ketechila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat nekabela, hitoreri, ki va'orechu mi'ori, uri shidaberi, kevod Adonai al ha'egila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We move, please stand.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'ktola, toch emunei am segula. V'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. We continue now on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei
continue with the Chatzi Karash on page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba be'almadi rachutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechon u'chayerecho be'Yisrael ba'galam uvizman kariv v'imaru amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarak le'alam olal me'almayam yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpar v'yipromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasham barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'elmam v'imaru amen. We're going to continue with the Baruch Hu on page 146. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. La la la. We now continue with Ma'ariv, Aravim, which you can find on page 148. Umavir yom, umavir yom, umavir yom, umavir laila, umavir ben yom, umavir laila, Adonai Tzebaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Loch, Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim, Umavir Yom, Umavir Yom, Umavir Yom, Umavir Laila, Umavir Yom, Umavir Laila, Adonai Tzebaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Loch, Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim, Yada Laila, 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 Yada Laila. We now move to the page 151, and I would ask that you read with me in English together on the bottom part of that page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. We now move into the Shema, which you can find on page 152 of your prayer book. I think maybe we'll do the sign language Shema today. Just so everyone knows what I'm talking about, in case you don't know, what we're going to do is I will recite the Shema and also use American Sign Language at the same time. And so this is the practice round. It'll look like this. It'll go, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. All right, so we also in sign language usually use your right hand for these signing as well. So let's try that together, okay? So here we go. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. What that means is pay attention, Israel, the people. This is an expansive view of God, a personal view of God, an expansive view of God, and everything is one. Okay, moving to the Via Hafta on page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyodecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'elem asher anachi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinartam levarnecha badivarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha havaderech ushofbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leyot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neimnecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'atziktem echol mitzvotai Vitem kiroshim leiloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzetiechem eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem leilohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Now I invite you all to turn to page 157 and read with me on top of that page in the English. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. There is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. 158.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Mi chamocha balim Adonai, mi chamocha gedar b'kodesh, Torah tilot oseh
Now we move to Vishamru, which you can find on top of page 162.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Urim, b'nei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We now move to the Amidah, which starts on page 164. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand with us.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yadita ilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yadita ilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imavot, U'Mevii Gula B'nei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach Me'ahen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Yoshia, Mashiach HaRuach Marin HaGashem, Mechayeh Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Ofech Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mechayeh Emunato Lishenei Atfar, Michamocha B'Gerurot, U'Midom Elach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah Chayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
We're now going to continue silently until page 180. You may be seated whenever you like.
Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Israel.
Okay, I'm going to give a few words of Torah. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like a race going on here, like which one goes out first and which one's waiting the longest. I know, that one's, when it's all Shabbat candles, yeah, it's going to take a while, I guess.
The second one, the pilot is gonna be winning.
All right, so Devin's keeping track of the score. Cool, afterwards you can tell.
The one right next to mine is actually
Oh,
out.
wow, one, yeah. Some of them are already out. Okay, here we go. When Joseph fathers Jacob was a young man on his way to make his fortune, he had a dream where Jacob witnessed angels ascending and descending a ladder from the earth to the sky. Then he witnessed Adonai, who reaffirms the covenant that Adonai made with Abraham. Adonai says, "Your descendants shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread out to the west and the east and the north and the south. I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this soil. I will not let go of you as long as I have yet to do what I've promised you." And I have a number of takeaways here. First off, I doubt Jacob could even fathom Judaism as far north as Alaska, but that's for us to enjoy. Second, Adonai knew Jacob was about to leave the land of Canaan. The covenant that Adonai made to Abraham and continues with the rest of the patriarchs includes residing in that land. Living in Canaan is part of the contract, and yet so many of our characters in the Torah are not in the land of Canaan. Jacob's on his way to live in Haran, and Joseph, the hero of this week's portion, is in Egypt. Our patriarchs leave the place promised to them, but Adonai does not leave them. In Jacob's dream, Adonai reasserts that promise. And Adonai travels with the Israelites, whether they are in Canaan or not. And my third takeaway is that it's so curious that this moment of divinity occurs in a dream for Jacob. Adonai doesn't just tell Jacob something, Adonai shows Jacob something as well. Angels on a ladder. Jacob interprets his dream that the physical location of where he dreamed it is a gateway to the sky and calls the location Bethel, or house of God. And remember, this is a random place in the middle of the wilderness. There is no actual house or ladder or any structure. Jacob only accessed this information through his dream. And dreams can convey information that is impossible in the real world, and Adonai capitalizes on this. Another important component of the dream is the promise of prophecy. Adonai says that Jacob will come back, and we know that Jacob does come back to the land of Canaan and makes it his home. And this dream is just a small blip in Jacob's journey in life, but it acts as an introduction to Joseph's experience in dreaming. That dreams matter, and that they're brimming with prophecy. And fast forward to last week's portion, and we learn that Joseph is a dreamer. The Torah tells of two of Joseph's dreams, and both of them his family is bowing to him, as if he rules over them. Joseph unfortunately learns a difficult lesson about prophecy. Since they're always out of context, they can seem too ridiculous to come true. So when Joseph said that his family was first sheaves of wheat and then celestial bodies all bowing to him, his family did not hear prophecy, but rather undeserved and manufactured gloating. At 17, Joseph is not ready to understand how powerful dreams can be for our patriarchs. For Jacob, they were a promise and a sign of wonder. For Joseph, they foretold the future, and knowing the future is troubling business when you don't know how you get there. So being betrayed by his own brothers and becoming a slave for Egypt makes his dreams seem less than honest. And for a person who just predicted his family bowing down to their youngest member, he is off to a rocky start. Yet Joseph continues to believe that dreams hold truth because he continues interpreting other people's dreams. In last week's portion, Joseph finds himself in jail. Joseph has a rags to riches story. So this is the second rags of part of his story. Both the royal cupbearer and the royal baker also find themselves in jail and apparently have dreams while they are in there as well. And Joseph had no problem becoming the authority of the meaning of their dreams, predicting that the cupbearer will get his job back and the baker will be executed. Their narrative follows Joseph's predictions to the letter, which becomes helpful when Joseph is finally offered the chance to predict Pharaoh's dreams. It would seem that Joseph's world of dreaming comes in pairs. He had two dreams about his family bowing down to him. He interpreted the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker, and now Pharaoh needs two of his own dreams interpreted. In his first dream, he dreams of 7 healthy cows that came from the Nile and 7 sickly cows that also came from the Nile. And the 7 sickly cows ate the 7 healthy ones. His second dream had a similar theme, except for ears of grain, 7 healthy and then 7 dead and dried out. Apparently, Egypt had no authority willing to interpret his dreams other than a jailed Hebrew working as a slave. And Joseph does so happily and confidently. Joseph first explains to Pharaoh that these dreams mean the same thing. In 7 years, a 7-year famine is coming. Then Joseph offers a solution to the problem, which involves stockpiling grain. It's almost as if Adonai sent a message to Joseph through Pharaoh's dreams. Joseph's dream interpretation wins him an astronomical promotion from jailed slave to viceroy of Pharaoh's court, in charge of preparing for the coming famine, which becomes Pharaoh's singular policy platform. Joseph's trust and prophecy of dreams surprises me. When he first shares his dreams, it makes his life so difficult. You would think his takeaway is to stop believing that dreams have meaning. Yet Joseph continues to believe in them. He found their usefulness even though they burned him. And I believe there is a meaningful lesson here. He believed that dreams were powerful enough to hurt him, but also powerful enough to save an entire kingdom, and a famously large one at that. And Joseph didn't turn away from something that hurt him, but turned it into something positive. And for me, I believe that Joseph's dreams are a metaphor concerned with the power of information. Information is just a tool, but when Joseph is damaged by it, he discovers the power it can hold. And I believe that a modern example of this is social media. Social media has shown us to be a really powerful tool that can backfire with spectacular effects. It can create and enable horribly toxic communities. It can keep people in a bubble where they only hear what they want to hear. However, it also gives people microphones who otherwise would not be heard. It provides platforms to offer positive change in our world. It connects us with families, friends, and communities. Like Joseph's dreams, powerful tools have powerful effects. Its power frightens me, but we wouldn't be able to continue to be a community during COVID without it. So in conclusion, Joseph's dream interpretation came at great cost to understand it, but he continued to use it as a powerful tool. And with this tool, a kid from Canaan became Pharaoh's most important official. With social media, CBS has been able to grow in ways we could not predict. And while we've seen its harmful effects, many of us firsthand, it's a tool that I believe we need to respect and find ways to make use of it so it has a positive effect on our society. Thank you. We now continue with the Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, which you can find on page 371 of your prayer books. And in our own community, we're thinking about these members who are in need of healing. Tina Mink, Chris Converse, Jennifer Eskridge, Ian Clift, David Tobias, Katie Flagel, Lindsay Raber, Micah Purdy, Cheryl Lambriani, Laura Allen, Susan Super, Mary Jo Robinson, Melba Cook, Emmy Webb, Stephen Lamp, Russell Crass, Bill Ross, Alan Friedman, Russ Nog, Ross Rumack, Norma Haas, Ray Ellis, Judy Cantor, Carol Riven, Diane Kaplan, Craig Paulus, and Philip Kaufman. If there's someone who you are thinking about who's in need of healing this Shabbat, please say their names as my hand crosses the room. Page 371.
Avotenu mekor habracha ve'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebera imotenu mekor habracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We now move to the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page the Elenu, which you can find on page 586 of your prayer books, or 87 of your prayer books. And when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear, doubt, and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai Lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
We now turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598 of your prayer books. In our own community, we're thinking about these yard sites this week. Elaine Klein, Sophia Lazur, James Lindsay, Jerome Marks, Shirley Mintz, Adele Nachman, Yael Schomburg, and Morty Weinberg. If there's someone who you are thinking of or mourning for this Shabbat, please say their names out loud or in your hearts as my hand crosses the room. Zikunon livracha, may the memory be for a blessing. Yit kedal yit kadash shemei rabba, be'elma divrach yotev yamlik malchute, b'chayechon uvyamechon uvchayedachol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarak Le'olam Ulomei Almaya Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitpa'ar V'yipramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemeda Kudusha Barichu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Da'amiran Be'elman V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom B'imromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. You may be seated. Okay, announcements. There's quite a lot going on these days. So tomorrow we have Exploring Liturgy, which starts at 9:30, and then we have our normal text study, which starts at 10:30. Both are in our Zoom room. And then, I have a new episode of my podcast out, What Divines Us. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts. And we, December, so on Sunday, religious school starts up again. We had a little bit of a hiatus there, but now we're back. And then on December, I believe, 13th, we're going to have Camp Kelsman present their camp to us over Zoom. So that'll be advertised regularly between now and then. But if you want to learn more about Camp Kelsman, they'll be talking to us. So it's pretty cool. I was there last summer. I really liked it. And then we have our morning minyan every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. in our Zoom room. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Anything else I'm forgetting? Did I get it all? It's so rare that I get it all. I guess I got it all. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have our closing melody now, which I believe is back on page 669 of your prayer books. It's going to be Matzor, and I think our Misha brothers are going to close us out with that. Lechanaya l'shabeach tikon betifalati v'sham toda nizabeach le'tachin matayach maitor hamnat ne'ebach az lemor mishor mizmor chanukat hamizbeach az igmor mishir mizmor chanukat hamizbeach rock of ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Well, Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. I'm so glad you're all here together with Shabbat and Hanukkah together. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you'll come next time. Yeah.
Okay.